Now I just want to show you something else here. If you do too much, you can just reverse your colors and paint back with white. And you see, if I paint back with white, I reveal back what I actually had just done. Reverse my colors, paint with black, and you can see that now I'm hiding. So black is hiding pieces of my picture. White is revealing pieces of my picture. So you can go all the way around your edges like that. Next step, I'm again sitting on my background layer, and I'm going to add a new layer above it. So right beside your garbage can is the icon for new layer. Go ahead and hit that new layer. And on this new layer now, I'm going to draw a bar that I can put some text onto. So I'm going to use a rectangular marquee tool. That would be inside of here, rectangle select, it's called. And draw yourself a bar that you can put across your picture somewhere. So mine's going to be a bar about like that. And with that bar, I want to fill it with white. And so when I fill it with white, making sure that my color is on white, you can either brush white all inside that area, or you could use your fill tool, and your fill tool is hiding inside your gradient. So if you click and hold gradient, you can go to your paint bucket tool, and then I can just click inside of it, and it will fill that with white. Now that looks pretty bad right now, but that's okay. We're going to change the opacity of that so that it is a little bit showing through below. So go ahead over here on your opacity slider, and we're going to take that and turn it down a little bit so that you can see part of your picture in behind it. And I'm going to turn mine down about that far, about 60% or so is about how far I'm going to make mine. All right, so on this layer now, I'm going to add a stroke around the outside of the edge for it. And so stroke you can do a couple of ways. You can double click over in this area beside your where it says layer 1, or down at the bottom here we have what are called layer styles, and in there I could go into stroke. And it brings up the same palette. It's this whole great big layer style thing that comes up. Now I obviously do not like red. I want to keep mine kind of in this blue theme. So I'm going to go and get a piece of blue from his jacket. Notice how I just popped onto there to get a nice little darker kind of a blue. And so I'm going to use the blue from his jacket. You can make it a little bit bigger if you want to. So I'm going to maybe make it, I don't know, just like so, 8 pixels. And you can position it so it's on the outside of that marquee. And that way you won't actually see the stroke on your left and right side. You'll just see it on top and bottom. If you put it on inside, of course, you're going to see that stroke all the way through. So I'm going to say okay to that. And I've got a nice stroke happening. I can actually deselect this now because I am done with it. Control D is your deselect key to get rid of those marching ants. Okay, I'm going to show you something here that might apply in your case. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just temporarily, just watch me do this, okay? I'm going to move my banner as if it was down like this, and I wanted that head part of this guy, I wanted it to kind of be on top of my banner a little bit, okay? So I'm going to show you how you would do that. First off, you would have to make sure that this stroke and this white fill are all in one, because right now, remember, the stroke is applied extra to that fill. So in order to do that, what I would have to do is on top of this, I would have to create a new layer that is blank, and then I would right click on that new layer and I would say merge down. Now, this is now permanent as to what it's done. That stroke is now part of that layer. So I can't go back in and edit that stroke anymore. It's there. It's part of it. It is now permanent. But what it does allow me to do is to mask out now the piece of the head that I would want to show on top of it. So again, watch what I would do. I would add a mask. My mask is white, so I'm going to paint with black. So I'm going to switch my colors. I'm going to go back to my brush. This time I'm going to get a very round brush, and I'm going to have a hard brush on there. I'm going to zoom in on my document here so that you can really see what I'm going to do. And I'm now going to start to brush so that I could see that head over top of it. And you can see how when I brush this, I am bringing it back so that it's really showing over top of it. Now, if you go too much, again, you would just make sure that you take and you switch your color to white. So you see, oh, I've gone too far over top of that. So all I do is I switch my color to white, and I would come back in here and I would very carefully mask that out. Now, zooming in, you're going to have to do so that you can see it. Switch. What I find is a little bit easier sometimes is to purposely go too far, because it's a little easier then to edit back afterwards, where you come in with that brush and be able to put back those little pieces that you need to. So there, doesn't that look cool now that you actually have a little piece of it over top of it? And if I was going to be perfect on this one, I would for sure do that on this guy too. And I would make sure that I've got just the top part of his helmet that, again, I'm painting with black because I want to bring his helmet and his hood there back. And I would come on top of my banner so that now, look, he's over top of the banner too. Doesn't that look realistic? So the last thing I'm going to do now is put some text on this. And I think I might just turn this into a Christmas card, let's say. You could do a thank you card. You could just turn it into whatever kind of text you want, keeping in mind you are going to hand this in to me, so make sure it's appropriate. But I'm going to use this tool. I want to grab a text color that is going to be the same as my border color. I'm going to grab a nice fun font. And you know, you can just take and uncheck these to be able to find the kinds of fonts that you want. I like this one. So I'm going to grab that font. Oops, I hit the load button by mistake. So I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger because it looks just a little bit small there. And I'm going to type Merry Christmas. And move it just a little bit so it's down here and leaving a little bit of white space in the top of that. Check mark it. And now I'm going to add another text box. Notice how in my layers palette, how these text boxes are separate. And I'm going to click inside here with my second text box. My size is going to be a little bit smaller for this one. And I'm going to choose more of a plain font this time. Nice clean font like this one. And I'm going to say from, oh, I think I just have to load it first. I'm getting used to this as well, you guys. I want that to be a little bit smaller yet. And I'm going to tuck it up in here a little bit better. And there it is, my card. Now, I've had issues, you guys, with saving. So if you've noticed, I have not saved all the way through this, which I really wanted to, but I was scared it was going to crash with my recording software every time I did. You probably should be saving as a PSD every once in a while. And of course, what I would be doing now is I would export that out as a JPEG, and you can export it out as a high JPEG. And that way it would be suitable if you did want to print it, give your card away, or if you're just doing it to hand in to me for your website, then of course you're going to export that out as a low JPEG. So I'm going to do two of them. I'm going to do my high one first. So my first one, JPEG, I'm going to go with my high quality that I can. And notice that my kilobytes in size down here is going to be about 400K. And so I'm going to save that one first. And when I save that, I'm going to put it not into Yearbook. I'll just put it into my documents. And I'm going to call it Card High. And save it. version for putting onto my website. So File, Export As. Again, it's going to be a JPEG. And this dimension a little bit lower so that I'm down around that 100 to 200 kilobytes in size. So you can see down here is where I'm looking, is in there, and save it. And important that I change my name this time, and I call it Card Low. So if you could please put that low res version onto your website in your Photoshop section, and then remember, you need to publish when you're done so I can see it. Thanks so much, you guys. Remember, I'm here. If you have any questions, you can email me.